Hi friends, I welcome you all at Crack Grade B in the video lecture series of economic and social issues for descriptive types of questions for RBI Grade B exam. Today we will discuss some questions on poverty and hunger. We will discuss some issues, some concern for India and what are the measures taken by the government for tackling the problem of poverty and hunger. So our first question for today is, write the short note on the following. The first is food security and the second one is the absolute poverty. Before moving ahead, I would like to inform you that while you are writing a short note, for example, food security in India, then what will you cover while writing a short note on this following topic, on this topic of food security? First, you will define what is food security. Second, you will define some dimensions on which this food security is here. The third is concern for India. The fourth is measures taken by the India. Measures taken. So, while we will give the answer for this food security in India, we will cover all these dimensions which I have told. So, what is food security? And the definition of the food security is given by the United Nations Committee on World Food Security. According to the United Nations Committee on World Food Security, all the peoples at all the times have physical, social and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. So this is the definition given by the United Nations. You can take this definition. Now, what are the dimensions and what are the concerns for food security in India? First, as we all know that food is essential for living, as is air breathing for us. But food security means something more than getting 2 square of meals, that is for dinner and lunch. It is more than that. So according to the food security has following some dimensions, and according to these dimensions each and every country is taken some measures. They are designing their policies according to these dimensions. The first one is availability of the food. What does it mean, availability of the food? Food production within country, food imports and previous year of stock stored in the government granaries. The first dimension is availability of the food. The second is the accessibility. Means food should be within the reach of every person. So the second dimension is accessibility. Third dimension is affordability. At how much cost you are getting the food which is important for your survival, for your living. So affordability is the third part, and it implies that an individual has enough money to buy sufficient safe and nutrition food to meet one's dietary needs. So there are 3 dimensions. First, we have defined the definition given by the United Nations. The second is availability of the food, accessibility and affordability. These all are the dimensions of the food security. Now, we will see the food security ensured in a country. Enough food is available for all persons. All persons have the capacity to buy, and there is no barrier to access and food, which I have told you earlier. These 3 are the dimensions, and each and every country designed their policy according to these 3 dimensions. Now, we will cover what are the measures taken by the government for the food security in India. If we go in our history, that food security concern can be tracked back to the experience of the Bengal famine in 1953. In 1943, we have faced a famine, that is Bengal famine in 1943 during British colonial rule. After the independence and initial rush to industrialization, as we all know that as soon as we have got independence from the British rule, then we have moved towards the industrialization. We have not paid any heed towards the food security in India. So after independence, we have got two successive drought in the mid 1960s, and depend on food aid from the United States exposed India's vulnerability to several shocks on the food security front. So these are the shocks which we have faced in previous time. After that, government has taken some measures. The first one was a green revolution. The country went through a green revolution in the late 1960s. After these two droughts which I have told, that in 1960 we have got two droughts, and after that government had decided for self-dependence in food security and reduce food import from the outer country, just like US and other countries. So green revolution, country went through a green revolution in the 1960s and early 1970s, enabling it to overcome productivity stagnation and significantly improve food grain production and reduce the dependency of India on the food imports. After the green revolution, the white revolution comes in India for wheat production, which was initiated by the Operation Flood during 1970s and 1980s. This national initiative has revolutionized liquid milk production and marketing in India and making it the largest producer of the milk. So it was the initiative taken by the government in 1970. After that, the government had started public distribution system, that is called PDS. So it is the most important steps taken by the government towards ensuring food security. What is a public distribution system? It is the system under which governments are giving food grains to the poor people at the subsidized rate. After that, in 2013, the National Food Security Act was introduced in India, and this act provides for food and nutritional security life at affordable price and enable people to live a life with dignity. What is the importance of this act? Under this act, 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population have been categorized as eligible household for security. After that, some fair shop price was also introduced. As we all know that we have heard about the ration shops, the fair price shop keeps stock of food grains, sugars, and the kerosene for cooking. We can say that if a person wants a sufficient diet for his livelihood, for his life, then the food grains, sugar and kerosene are the major part and the major pair for covering this food security. So these items are sold to people at price lower than the market price. For example, if a person is earning nowadays, if we talk, we said nowadays he is earning 5,000 rupees, and the price of this food grains like rice, like wheat and kerosene, now we replace the kerosene with the LPG cylinders. Then if the price will fluctuate of these three items, definitely it is going to impact our poor people. So it is a responsibility of the government for controlling of these three items to help the poor peoples and to save them from the inflation. So these fair prices are playing a very great role in controlling the price of these three items. The third measure was taken by the government is cooperatives. The cooperatives are playing an important role in food security in India, especially in southern and western part. These cooperatives are very successful in southern and western part of the country. And what are the role of the cooperative? The cooperative societies set up shop to sell low price goods to poor people. For example, if a person is getting 40 rupees kg sugar in market, then these cooperatives are selling these sugar at the rate of 30 or 32 kg. So they are giving some benefits and they are controlling the price and helping the poor people to buy this sugar at a very low rate. So this is the role of the cooperatives, and these all are you can give while you are writing for a note of this on this food security item or food security. So now our next question is, what do you understand by the absolute poverty? As we all know that the basic living standards comes from the better food, better shelter and housing. These are the three required basic living standard thing which a person want in his life. So according to this absolute poverty, if a condition is coming to a person that as per his household income he is not able to buy this food, shelter and housing for maintaining his living standard, then the person is come under the absolute poverty. I will explain you better that absolute standard means this is the food item. If a person want, this is the shelter and this is the house. We can add some more cloth in it. If a person household income is 10,000 per month, then with this 10,000 per month income, he is not able to get this food item, shelter and house and cloth. Then its basic living standard will be lower than the other people. So all these persons will come under the poverty, and these persons will known as the absolute poverty person. So this is the definition of the absolute poverty. Now what are the advantage and disadvantage and how this absolute poverty measures were taken in any country? The first benefit is that it is possible to compare between different countries and also over a time. So there is no limitation of time and there is possibility of comparison between the different countries. Poverty which is valid at all times for all economies is called the absolute poverty. There is no relation with the time. For example, what is the rate of the inflation in Africa and what is the rate of inflation in India, it will be considered as the equal. So this is the flaws of this absolute poverty. Now in short term we can say that being unable to subsist, that is being unable to eat, drink, have shelter and clothing. Now there are some common monetary measures taken for this absolute poverty is that if a person is receiving less than $1 a day, according to the World Bank in 2008, this figure is revised and it was considered as a $1.25 a day, then again in 1.90 a day in 2015. This figure is increased. For example, consider a poor in India is equal to the poor in USA. Now we will see that what are the different advantages and disadvantages of this absolute poverty. Then you will find some clear picture of this absolute poverty, the first and most important part, which I have already told you, that it is an easy comparison between a different country. Now, disadvantage. It does not always accurately represent the different cost of the subsistence from the country to country. It is simplistic and does not reflect indebtedness, health, education, housing or access to public services, and measurement do not take into account the amount of consecutive years of people live under the poverty line. Now I will tell you what is the difference and disadvantages. We will take the case of USA and we will take the case of India. Can we say that the person living in USA spend more time as compared to India? I mean to say is that in the case of USA, the poverty is 15 years old, and in case of India, it is only 25 years. No. So how can we fix the timeline for this, for defining this poverty? So this is the first flaw. Second, in USA, health conditions are different as compared to India. The government of US is spending more on the health expenditure as compared to India. Geography of USA is different from India. So this factor is also not taken while we measure the poverty in absolute terms. Second, education level of USA is far better than India. So how can we compare these two countries on a same level, that is absolute term? So these are some disadvantages of absolute term. So in this note, we have defined the absolute terms, what World Bank has said about this absolute poverty, and what are the disadvantages and advantages of this absolute poverty. Now we come to the second question. The question is, despite surplus food production, India is struggling with hunger problem. Comment. A very important topic, that as we go by the fact and figure, India is able to produce surplus and we are exporting rice and other food grain item to the other countries. But despite the surplus food, we are struggling with the problem of hunger. You have to comment on that. So we will start writing this question by taking some reference from the 2020 Global Hunger Index. As we all know that, friends, India ranked 94th out of the 107 country in case of hunger index. It is a very, very poor ranking scored by the India. So it is painful to see that despite of having surplus food, hunger still persists. Starvation doesn't fit nearly into the story of New India. We are talking about the growth of 11.4 GDP. We are talking about the smart cities. We are talking about the bullet trains. But what about this hunger problem? So we will see some different reasons which are contributing towards the hunger problem in India. So in reasons part, the first and most important part is the poverty. Poverty is the major reason behind the alarming level of hunger. Poverty, restricting the food choice, has been the causative factor of the hunger-related deaths. So what we have to do? We have to start thinking about the employment generation, and we have to start thinking about starting some work towards upliftment of the poor, that they are able to purchase food for their livelihood. The government has started many schemes: target distribution, target PDS, target public distribution system, Antyodaya Yojana, and many more measures government taken to reduce this poverty level. But we are giving some reasons that despite surplus food productions, India is struggling with hunger. Then the first and most important reason is poverty. The second one is the multi-dimensional nature. multidimensional nature, if we talk about the water, sanitation and access to food items, then there is a huge difference between a North India and East India, in the West India and the South India, in the North India, in the West India. So water habits, sanitation habit and access to food items is different in different zone of India. If we talk about Bihar, if we talk about the Orissa, and we will compare these states with Gujarat or Maharashtra, then definitely these states are going back in backward conditions because they have different water sanitation and access to food items. Now, in nutritional quotient is also depend upon the demographic factor like gender, caste, age, etc. For example, this is the multidimensional nature. A man and a woman. Man is eating something else and woman is eating something else because we need more hemoglobin in case of women, then their dietary habits should be different from a man. So this is the multidimensional nature of India, and it is also contributing towards the hunger problem in India. The girl child and elderly are not adequately addressed in our society. Women and adults need some different types of food items as compared to the man in terms of calorie if we talk about. So this is the multidimensional nature. Now, ineffective food policies implementation. It is a very vast topic. If we define and analyze then we are able to find some drawbacks of this policy implementation in India. For example, Integrated Child Development Services and the National Health Mission have not achieved the adequate coverage. So this is also the reason. Now the climate change impact. Erratic rainfall, increasing frequency of extreme events and change in monsoon patterns gives the economic slowdown in India and rise the food inflation in India. Then if the food inflation in India will rise, it will contribute to the hunger problem in India. Now the issue with the hunger, there are multi to monocropic system limit the diversity of agriculture product. Some states is focusing on the production of the rice only. Inclination towards cash crop, changing food habit result in malnutrition, undernutrition, even nutrient deficiency. For example, if a state is producing rice but he is not producing nutrition rich food, then it also give hidden hunger problem in India. It is a next question. We will talk about the hidden hunger. Now the unstable state market, rising food price, it's difficult to the poorest people to get nutrition food consistently with exactly what they need to do. So the problem is with the nutrition in India. Natural disaster such as flood, tropical storm and long period of drought are the increase with the calamitous consequences for the hungry poor in developing countries. Gender inequality, women's nutritional requirement are often unmet by the consumer. Consume whatever is left after everyone else has eaten. So this is a gender inequality. So this gender inequality is contributing towards the hunger problem for the women, especially for the women. Food wastage. As per the Food and Agriculture Organization, the global volume of the food wastage is estimated to be 1.6 billion. And this figure is far and more in context of India. So food wastage should be stopped if you want to tackle the problem of hunger. Now the corruption. As we all know that in public distribution system, we are facing the problem of the corruption. So PDS, a food distribution scheme, is mired with inefficiency and corrupt practices, denying to food to many. So these are some reasons behind the hunger problem in India. So I think I am able to give the right approach to you while giving the answer of these types of questions, just like despite surplus food production and India is struggling with the hunger problem. So these you can, while you are writing these types of questions, you can take all these points into your answer. So The third question is, what do you understand by the hidden hunger? Discuss the remedial measure to address the hidden hunger. First, what is the hidden hunger? Hidden hunger is a condition of lack of mineral and vitamins in the human body. The nutrition deficiency is caused not due to lack of food but due to lack of food-rich nutrients. For example, if we are taking rice in our diets, then we are taking more carbohydrate. But what about the vitamin A? What about the vitamin B12? What about the vitamin D12? D. Are you able to fulfill these requirements of the body by taking this only rice into your diet? The answer is no. So this is called hidden hunger. Hidden hunger is the problem of India because in India there are lack of minerals and vitamins in food items which we are taking in our daily diets. So what are the causes? What are the causes of this hidden hunger? As we all know that if the student who are from the science background, then they are able to understand this concept easily, that due to deficiency of one or more micronutrients such as iron, folate, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin B12 and vitamin D, its effects can be devastating, leading to mental impairment, food impairment, poor health and low productivity and even death. So what are the strategies? These strategies for addressing micronutrient and malnutrition in India can be biofortification, supplementation and dietary diversification. Now we will discuss these points one by one. What is the biofortification? Biofortification is the process by which the nutritional quality of the food crops is improved through agronomic practices, conventional plant breeding or modern biotechnology. For example, iron biofortification of rice, beans, sweet potato, cassava and legumes, zinc biofortification of wheat, rice, beans, sweet potato, provitamin A, carotenoid biofortification of sweet potato, amino acid and protein biofortification of sorghum and cassava. The second point is supplementation. It is a technical approach in which nutrients are delivered directly to desired population by means of syrups and pills. The tablet of vitamin C, the tablet of vitamin D. So it has the advantage of being capable of supplying an optimal amount of supplement and nutrients. But what are the benefits of this supplementation process? It is in a highly absorbable form and is often the fastest way to control deficiency. For example, if you are taking the pills of the vitamin D, so the vitamin D will be highly absorbable into your body and you are getting the fastest control of deficiency of vitamin D into the body. It is a benefit of supplementation. Now the drawbacks: the supplementation program generally are short-term measures. You have given the pills to a person for tackling the problem of this deficiency of vitamin. But what about the long term? The long term can be come with the help of taking some measures which I have told you, that just like biofortification. Now the third point is dietary diversification. As we all know that a balanced diet is required for a person in his life if he want to be healthy. So a balanced diet of an adequate combination of micronutrient, just like carbohydrate, fats and protein, is essential micronutrient. Generally what we take in our foods, we take pulse, rice, bread. Somehow we are able to take curd if we talk about the vegetarian person. Then by taking all these items, are we able to fulfill our requirement of our body? Are we taking balanced diet? The answer is no. So we have to change our dietary habits and we have to do some dietary diversification for tackling the problem of hidden hunger. So, essential micronutrients like food-based substances such as dietary fiber along with cereals, legumes, fruits, vegetables, animal source of food is essential ensuring a healthy life. So dietary diversification is necessary for reducing the hidden hunger problem in India. So friend, this was all from my side. I have covered 2 notes and 2 questions which is based upon the poverty and hunger. So till then, thank you and happy learning. पढ़ते रहिए, मेहनत करते रहिए.